Okay guys, so welcome back to the channel. So we continue from the previous video where we worked on the header. So the header is this section of the website. So now we're going to be working on the hero section. So the hero section is a section that is directly under the header of the website. So it's just that area that gives like a little information about what the website is about and all that. So to get started with the hero section, we have to actually come to this place. If you can remember, I said everything has to be wrapped into a div. So that's how you are able to separate one section from the other. So now, in order to create the hero section, we just hit enter. Then we add our div tag. Then once we add our div tag, we'll come here and we'll name it we could name it, give it an ID of just say hero. So once we give it an ID of hero, we could now add whatever we want to add inside. So what should I add? I could add a header. I could add a header that says H1, that says something like welcome to my site, exclamation mark. Then I could also go ahead to add a paragraph that says something like this is where you get all your needs met. Then full stop. So just put that there. Then I'm going to add two more. I'm going to add another header, or perhaps I could just add another paragraph and say something like, or let me just add. I'm add a header. So I'll come here, add another header. Then I could say something like need to contact us with a question mark. Then come under and add a p tag. Then I could say something like, instead of giving more details, I could just add a button here so that if they need to contact us, they could actually go straight to contact us. So I could just add a button tag. Then I could come here and say contact inside the button. So the button would be saying they should contact. So anyways, I'll hit save. Okay, so that's that. So from what you can see here, this is this here, welcome to my site. This is where you get all your needs met and needs contact us. So what I'm going to do now is I want this 1 and 2 to be on the left side and occupy most of the site, while this need to contact us should be somewhere below and should be on the right side and should take a smaller portion. So in order to achieve that, we need to separate these two things with a row display. So I could, in order to do that, I can't just come here and say um, for this hero, I just can't come to the CSS and say display flex. So in order to do that, I have to separate each of the sections with a div. So I would say div. Then I would copy this, or rather cut it, then insert it into a div, then hit save. Then I would come here and do the same for this. I would add another div here, div. Then I would copy, cut, then paste it into this place. So yeah, obviously there is no change visually, but when we go to the CSS, and that's when we're going to be able to start seeing changes. So for example, if we happen to say for hero, it should display flex. It should display flex for 1 and 2. That's this 1, 2 should be in a row. So we could just go straight to this point and say hashtag hero, then curly braces, then we could say display flex. So once we say display flex, exactly, this is exactly how I wanted it to function. So now this is here and this is here, but I want this side to take the higher portion of the website, and this should be, smaller. So in order to do that, I need to grab this because this is a div and I need to give it a name. So I could give it an ID. I could give it an ID of I could just say main info. So main hyphen info. While I'll give this an ID of ID equal to contact info. We just say contact info. So I'll hit save. So obviously there's no change visually. So now what I'm going to do is I would now, since I want this to take most of the space, I would go here, as I'll copy this main info, then I'll come to the CSS. I'll come to the CSS, add the hashtag, then I'll paste this with my curly braces, then I'll give it a width. So I could also give it a width in percentage so that I would not have to be calculating how many pixels. So I could just say the width should be like about 80% of the page. So I could just say 80%. Then let me see exactly something like this, but then I feel like this is too close. I want it to come down a bit. So if I want it to come down a bit, I have to use margin top just like we use the menu list. So I could just come here and say margin hyphen top, then colon. I would give it 40 px. So I hit my save. So I think let me bring it down more. So I could just give it 60 px. So okay, that's fine. Then for this side, I also want to bring this down more. In fact, I want it to come more like so. Anyways, I would okay before I go to this section, let me make this a little bit bigger. There's this paragraph here. So in order for me to do that in the main info, I could just instead of giving it an ID, there is also another way I could select a child. So since I've given the parent an ID in CSS, I could just copy this and come here, repeat it again, but then I would say P, then put my curly braces. So this is just saying look for the P tag in main info parent. So main info is the parent here. So it's going to say inside main info find P. So it will look for all the tags that are P and it will select it. So this is a way you could select something again in CSS, but usually it's more advisable to use the ID for selection. I'm just showing this for the purpose of exploring different aspects of CSS. So we could come here to the main info P and we'll give it a font size because I want it to be a bit bigger. So I could say font size. So hit here and give it maybe 20 pixels. So exactly, this is exactly what I want. Then I could come to this because I want it to come down a bit more. So I could just come here and I would give it something like let me just copy it first. Then come here, then add my hashtag, paste it, then curly braces. Then I could come here and say that it should have a margin top, since I want it to come down, margin top of 100 px. So that it could come down more than this 100 px. Okay, so it's still a bit, it's not down enough, so I could just come here. Okay, we could come and actually increase the margin top by 150 since it's not yet down below. So I could just come here and give it 150. So I think this is actually very fine. This is actually okay. Okay, so the next thing we could do is go to the button, because I want to customize this button to be a bit bigger, more to look better. So we could go and give the button an ID. We just say ID, go to, we just say um hero hero button or hero BTN. Yeah, hero BTN is okay. So I'll just copy this, then come here, then paste it with the hashtag. So curly braces. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use this for increasing the size of the contact button. So we could do this by something that is called padding in CSS. Padding is used for increasing the size of a border. So I could come here and I would say padding. So we also have padding top, padding left, padding bottom. That is if I want to increase the size from the left side, from the left side, and if I want to increase the size from the right side. So anyways, we could just come, and if we want to increase all at the same time, we could just name it padding instead of padding left or padding right. So we could just come here and say padding should be 20 px, for example. So once I do this, okay, it's a bit too big, so I could just come and give it to be 10 px. So this is actually kind of okay. So we could as well give it a width of, we just come and give it a width of maybe 60 px. Then that's a bit small. We give it a width of 90. Let me see. So we'll give it a width of 100 as well, or 150. Let's just see what it looks like exactly. So but I think the one of 100 is okay. The one of 100 is okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make the font size to be a bit bigger. So we just come here and say font size. So we could say let me just start a little so it doesn't get too much. 10 px. No, that's a bit too small. So I could just say 30. Oh, that's a bit too big. Maybe I'll leave that 15. So I could just say 15 px. So I think this is cool. I could increase the font weight to be bold. So font weight should be bold. Font weight to be bold. Then yeah, it's much better now. So the next thing I'm going to teach you after introducing this padding is something that is called border radius. So border radius is a way of adding curvy edges to your border. So anyways, I could just say border radius hyphen radius. So then I could just give this to be 20%. So let me just give you an example. And so now it's kind of like it's kind of curving the border, and I could as well give it 50%. So it has curved the edge. So but I don't want this to be like this. Let me give you something like this. I don't want something too extravagant, so I could just give it 10. Let me see. Okay, so I think this is actually fine. Then the next thing I'm going to do is, so this border, because of the fact that we've not really, as you can notice, the border here is not very strong. So all we're going to do is we'll bring something that is called border itself. So we'll say border. So in order to make it thick, so we'll just say border should be, we'd say 1 px of solid. We could color the border because right now the border doesn't actually have any color, so that's why it's kind of pale. So I could say um solid blue. So I could just say solid blue. So we just come, and now the border is actually blue. So we could also come and give it this a background color of blue, just so everything could go together. So now it has a background color of blue, and we can now give it a text color of white. So it could have a color of white. So exactly. So we've kind of achieved here. I know this is kind of off, but this is just for purpose of an example. So yeah, we've been able to achieve this. This should come a little bit down. So maybe I could just make say 170. So yeah. So hopefully you've gained a basic understanding of how to use the hero section. So before I leave this section, let me just give this a margin left of margin left, margin. Sorry, this is contacts. I'm supposed to give it to the margin info. So I'll just come here and say margin right. Sorry, margin right should be 5 px. Let me make it 15 px. Let me make it 35 px. Exactly. So if you noticed, I shifted this so you could have a space in between. So I could leave it like this, or if I wanted this to be smaller instead, I could remove the margin right here. We just get rid of it. Then I would go to the contact info, because this is contact info. I could go here, then give it a margin left instead, so it could move away from this. So I could say, so you can move away from this. So I could say margin left should be by 15 px. So yeah, it moved a bit, and let me see. So I think it's okay now. So both of them will actually do the same job. So um they're going to do something similar. So hopefully with this you've gained a basic understanding of how to use stuff like padding and the border radius. Border radius is basically used for making the edges to be curvy. As it's 10%, you could make it 50% if you want, depending on your taste. So this is 50%. This is 10% back. So, and the border is used for giving the edges, because for example, if I remove this, this is what it's going to look like. The edges will be kind of pale and it will be colorless. So the in a border, it's always expecting you to give it a border color. So let me bring this back and now see it. So the background color here is the same thing that I give the border, so that it should make more sense. So I can as well give it different color as well. So I could say something like, instead of blue, I could say black. So let me see. And here is a different color. It depends on whatever you want. Then the color is for this text inside here. So if you found this video to be useful, kindly leave a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave a comment in the comment section, and please don't forget to subscribe. And for you to gain more understanding of this, just check out the next video.